Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Comic-Kid here, and today we will be reviewing the 12-inch Marvel Legends Black Suit Spider-Man, or Symbiote Suit Spider-Man, depending on which you prefer. This was my first 12-inch Marvel Legends figure, and it is probably my favorite. I do not own the classic suit Spider-Man, but at this scale, I think I'd prefer the black suit anyways. As you can see, down here are all the accessories it comes with. I have the open grab hands equipped at the moment, but it also comes with closed fists and the classic web shooting fingers. It also comes with an alternate unmasked Peter head, with the symbiote actually crawling all over his face. I think it looks really cool. I think the overall design and sculpt is excellent. So with all that in mind, there are still several differences between the 12-inch scale and the normal 6-inch scale. And the biggest difference is in this calf joint here. As you can see, it doesn't quite line up with the rest of the figure. There's that dip there. That's because this piece here rotates. And then between that joint and this added foot pivot here, those two are really the only differences as far as joint-wise. I have the classic Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man here. As you can see, there's no joint in there at all. And there's also no foot pivot. It's just a normal flat foot, etc. That being said, that's really the only difference between the two figures, but the larger size does add for more posability. You get like a wider range of certain things here and there. And then obviously that wider range allows for more posability. The bigger joints are mainly what do that. They just give extra movement all around just because they're bigger. And then as far as it differs from other figures in Marvel's 12-inch line, again, not all Hasbro figures, even at 12-inch scale, come with the butterfly shoulder joint that allows the arm to kind of pivot like so. I don't know why they don't all come with it, but like the Iron Man and the Hulk don't have it at all, but figures like their 12-inch Deadpool and Wolverine do. Personally, I think if you're gonna have a 12-inch figure, you really kind of need the shoulder pivots or the butterfly joints. I understand why they'd keep them out just to conserve space and it would look better with paint and so on and so forth, but for me, I think I'd get over that pretty quickly. So you can see the paint on the back of his spider goes into that joint there, but it's still painted on, and so I think as long as you try your best paint-wise, it's really not gonna matter to the buyers and the fans. But the main thing where this figure really shines is the posability. As you can see, he's in kind of a very complex pose at the moment. His head can actually like rotate to look at you to some extent. Overall, Hasbro did a very, very good job with all their 12-inch figures. Now, as far as the figure itself goes, I do have some gripes. The joints can be very, very stiff and hard to move sometimes, kind of almost to the point where I kind of feel like I'm gonna break it. Thankfully, I haven't yet broken it, but it is kind of a minor concern. But at the same time, that's a risk you run into with figures in general. There's always going to be a risk of stiff joints and so on and so forth, or loose joints as well. And so you always got to be mindful of stuff like that. As far as sculpt goes, I am very, very pleased with how it turned out. He looks just like you'd expect Spider-Man to look. He's not too beefy or bulky or anything of the sorts. He is basically precisely proportioned, and I have no complaints as far as sculpt goes. As far as paint goes, I feel like they could have done slightly better around the eyes. And if you can see here, especially on the tops, it really kind of rides the lines and everything. It's still a little blurry. But the eyes are really the only place where the paint could have been better. That being said, the figure is mostly black. There's really not a whole lot you need to do as far as the paint goes, especially in comparison with the 12-inch Amazing Spider-Man with the classic suit. They normally do a pretty solid job all around as far as their paints go. That was really the only error or discrepancy that I noticed. Even on the Peter Parker head here, I really have no complaints as far as the paint goes. They did a very, very solid job all around. And that's about it as far as this figure goes, review-wise at least. I'm very curious as to what Hasbro will do with more of their 12-inch Marvel Legends. Their Wolverine is really, really cool. All around, they do a really solid job with their 12-inch figures. Like, the bigger scale really gives them a chance to stretch their legs and kind of do a little more and just, you know, all around add a little extra for fans and collectors alike. And yeah, that is everything for today. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to click like and subscribe, and I will see you all again next week.